What's up guys, Infernape here. If you guys didn't check out my last video, this one is going to be a bit more of a serious type video, so I decided to just sit down for this one. So yeah, when I make more serious type videos, or if I'm doing collabs with David, I'm probably just going to be sitting down at my desk for this one. So, like I said in my last video, this video is going to be going over about the story how I became a martial artist. If you guys didn't know, I have been a martial artist for about nearly 2 years now. I started training independently without any official lessons. Then I started doing official lessons about nearly a year afterwards. So this is going to take a bit of time. So if you're not really interested in this kind of thing, maybe this video wouldn't be for you, but I'd appreciate it if you stuck around for this video. So basically, right around the 2018, my parents were not in the best of places. Basically, I didn't notice at the time, but around the 2014-2015 time period, my dad actually gambled a lot of money away. Ever since he was younger, he had a bit of a gambling addiction and it got a bit out of control. So, right around the 2014-2015 area, he gambled not only money we had, but money that we didn't have. And my mum, she just couldn't put up with it. So, she was more than likely thinking about getting a divorce, but she stayed for my sake. Just because she knew that if their divorce right in the middle when I was 14, 15, and right in the middle of me doing my coming up final years of school, she knew that it would really, really fuck me over mentally. So she decided to put up with it until I turned 18. And she did so. Then she decided to just cut to the dog's dick and divorce him not long after we got back home from when we went to Canada and New York. And the process was very, very strainful on me mentally. But at the time, I had my theatre group that I was a part with. I started when I was 7 and stayed until I was 18. I had to leave at 18 because of an age cap. And I really, really didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay. But obviously, it wasn't possible because of an age cap. Whenever my parents, constantly argued, I just thought to myself, just hold out until Saturday, and you can get away from them for a little while, and then you can go to Theatre Train, where you can actually do stuff that you love, and not being in a really toxic environment. But once I left, things just got worse. For me, at least. And I really, really wanted the need to go back to Theatre Train so I can get away from it. But obviously I couldn't. So I felt like I was robbed of the one place where I could feel safe. So after I left Theatre Train, things got worse. I was angrier, I was more toxic, and I just didn't feel safe around anyone. I felt like at any point, I could have easily hurt someone. And I could have hurt anyone, and I just didn't feel safe. And it got a lot worse right around the time where I had to move house. And keep in mind, I stayed in that house, for 10 years. So, that house felt like a home. This house, is okay, but it just doesn't feel like a home. It's a house, but it's not a home. The last house I lived in, that was more of a home. And, yeah, things got a lot worse from there. My dad's now living over in St Albans. And if you guys didn't know, I live in the borough of Bromley, which is in the London area. And St Albans is on the opposite side of London, so I rarely get to see him. So yeah, that kind of really fucks me up. And when we had to move house, the last family that owned this house I'm currently living in, unfortunately, their house, they couldn't get the house in time, so we had to live in a temporary bungalow in a really shit neighbourhood. Didn't exactly help that the bungalow we were living in felt like a time warp. Like, it felt like you were brought back to the 1940s or the 1930s. Like, they had Wi-Fi and a TV, but other than that, it felt like I was brought back to the 1940s. And I just didn't like that environment. Like, it got so bad that I started drinking. I definitely started drinking a lot more than I should. Like you name it. Like, I mainly stuck to sours because I remember we bought like a really big family sharing glass of sours. I remember, and yeah, I drank that quite a lot. Then, whenever I did go to my dad's, I definitely drank more than I should there too. And I also started eating a lot more than normally. Like, even like during the process of us moving, I started eating a lot more than I should have. Like, I remember around Christmas time, I got like this loaf of Stollen, and I ate it all in one go. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. My one saving grace at the time was that I was dating someone, and I didn't realise what I was doing at the time because I wasn't really there upstairs. And I didn't realise that I was causing her pain. Which is a real shame because, honestly, she was by far the best girlfriend I've ever had out of all my past relationships. And all I want is to try to make amends with her. I really do. I try to make amends with her. I reached out after we were all said and done with. I left her alone for like a year or two. I tried to apologise for everything that I did and realised what I did was wrong. And we ended up talking for a bit, like, friendly. And then she decided that she doesn't want to speak to me anymore. Because she felt like if she ended up in a relationship, I would not be okay with that. And I would go down a really dark downward spiral. Not to mention, because of what I did, I caused her to do some really bad things to herself. And that much regret and pain still haunts me a bit. I don't think I'll ever be able to get over that. I honestly don't. Then I got a lot worse after the breakup. I became a lot more violent, more angry, and I felt like it affected the content that I made on this channel, not to mention it affected my personality. Like, I just was gone. Like, the me up until that point was gone. And then things got a lot worse. I started losing friends, got in a lot more arguments with friends. Some of them didn't even want to speak to me anymore. Like, I even caused a lot of people a lot of pain. And I don't think I'll ever be okay with that. I don't think I'll ever make peace. I honestly don't. It even got to the point where my parents were even considering calling in the police on me. And it really, really shook me. Then, around that time, I started watching a series on Netflix called Cobra Kai. And then after watching it for a little while, I really enjoyed it. I really did. But it was when I started like binge watching it over and over and over again. Specifically the first episode. Do you remember, well, I don't know if you guys have seen Cobra Kai, but for those who have, do you remember the first episode where Johnny was drunk, didn't shave, and was watching Top Gun while eating a crappy meal and drinking his life away? I felt like what he was going through. Just drunk, eating more than I should, or not eating the correct food. And I just felt like an absolute loser, and I felt like I was better off dead. I remember it quite vividly. Basically, he was watching a scene from Top Gun, and he was playing the scene where Chappie dies. And then the main character played this voice note over, and it said, like, if you're playing it and there's some really messed up shit must have gone down. And you must be really scared and really alone. But you have to remember that God gave you the touch. And he doesn't exactly hand that out on a silver platter. So I decided to take a lesson from that, spruce myself up, and try to find my own touch. The only touch that I knew of was singing. Singing has pretty much been the only thing I'm good at apart from cooking. Cooking is the only useful lifestyle skill that I've actually got. And anything else, it's literally just singing. And I started taking up like singing and songwriting, mainly songwriting, because I feel like I've had a bit of a shit life ever since I started secondary. Like, from year 7 to year 11, I was constantly bullied and picked on for whatever reason. I was in a class of people who were just potential criminals, not to mention homophobic. So, even though that I'm not a part of the LGBTQ community, they still assumed that I was gay and didn't like me because of that, and it just really fucked me up. But I stuck with songwriting for a while, and I got pretty good at it. Then my friend David thought that maybe taking martial arts would be a good route, because I'm really into watching Cobra Kai, and he thought it would be a good way to help me mentally, because he said that martial arts helped him a lot mentally, so I thought I would give it a shot. I'd start watching some martial art tutorials on YouTube. Then I actually am friends with a couple people who are martial artists, so I asked them if they could show me a thing or two. And I started practicing constantly, and I got pretty good at it on my own. But then I decided, after 10 months, I decided to join an official martial arts group. We study a martial arts called Wing Chun, which is a Chinese kung fu. My martial art has been around since the Qing Dynasty. If you want to fact check how long that has been, I'll leave when the Qing Dynasty started and finished. It doesn't exactly pinpoint when in the Qing Dynasty, but it shows that a woman saw a bird fighting an upper level predator in the food chain, and it was trying to, kill it, but the bird used simultaneous defense and attack while countering. And the woman observed this. And then she decided to try and turn it into a martial art. And it's probably, in my opinion, one of the greatest martial arts ever. Like, I started practicing it before I joined the Wing Chun Club, and I got pretty good at it. But now that I am a part of an official club, I definitely feel like I've gotten a lot better at martial arts. Ever since I've joined that club, I definitely feel like I've improved mentally. Like, I've definitely got a lot more discipline. I feel like a bit more balanced. And I definitely feel like I can mentally and physically take a punch. I still fight demons. Like, I don't think I'll ever be able to get over my demons. But it's easing the pain. I will admit that. It's definitely easing the pain. That's why I would encourage anyone who doesn't feel right mentally to possibly take up martial arts. Like, it worked wonders for me. Like, yes, I'm still fighting my demons, but, like I said, it's easing the pain. So, if I were you, I definitely would recommend taking martial arts. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you self-defense. Like, self-defense is definitely a big thing nowadays. I definitely feel like people would need self-defense in this day and age. Because for all you know, someone on the street could steal from you, beat you up for no reason, or possibly even try to kill you. So it is better to learn how to defend yourself for those kind of actions than not know how to defend yourself and then end up in a really bad situation. I know of 2 martial art schools nearby, one of which is the one that I go to. It's over in Sidcup. It's called Wing Chun Sidcup Wing Chun, I believe. If you want access to either of those martial arts, I'll leave a link to both of them down in the description below. One is Seth Karate, but I go to one called Sidcup Wing Chun. So if you feel like you're being bullied and don't want to take their stuff anymore, if you don't feel right mentally, or if you just want to learn how to defend yourself for the future, I would highly recommend taking up martial arts. Like I said, I've put 2 martial art dojos local to my area down in the description. If you want to find a dojo that's local to you, I would recommend going onto Google and researching it yourself. As you can see, martial arts has done wonders for me. I know how to defend myself. I've gotten a much better mindset. I've stopped drinking as much as I have. I'm watching what I eat. I definitely feel like my content has improved a lot. I've also gotten back into college. And yeah, I just feel a little better. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm fully better, but I definitely can see an improvement. Like, even my friend said that I've had a massive improvement. So, yeah, I feel like martial arts does wonders for people. So, I just think that martial arts is not a 100% perfect remedy, but it does help. So, I would recommend maybe taking some martial art classes. But that's just my personal opinion. You're free to do what you want, obviously. But if you want to improve your mental health, my best advice would be taking some martial art lessons. And this is where I'll wrap things up. I'm sorry if this video isn't as exciting as my videos usually are. I just wanted to make this video because it's very personal to me. So, yeah, videos will be going back to normal as per usual. And guess that's it. Be sure all to like, share, and comment, and subscribe if you're new. And until next time, this is Infernape, signing off. Bye!